Friends. I mean, I have now many friends from all around the world just because I'm communicative. And I think that's one of the aspects that a good traveler should have if he wants or she or it enjoy like traveling to the fullest, because also what traveling means is not just like moving, but also meeting people, seeing cultures and all that.
Hello, I'm Alan Hill. In this podcast series of the Nostalgic Vagabond, we're talking travel, all kinds of travel, with all kinds of interesting people from all around the world. In conversation, we'll share personal anecdotes, tales of adventure, and maybe misadventure too. Listen in for some unique cultural perspectives, tips from seasoned veterans, and an array of diverse experiences that have contributed to many life-changing journeys. Travel really is a privilege. We know that now. And if we can't do it right this very moment, let's talk about it then. Hey, where are you right now? On this episode of the Nostalgic Vagabond podcast, I talk with Valentina, also known as Kooky, from kookylovestotravel.com. She is a digital nomad, writer, and content creator with a big passion for photography and an even bigger passion for life. Valentina left her home of Croatia years ago and has since lived in 3 European countries and travelled through 13 or more. In this way, we are from a similar experience. But how does someone who loves to travel and explore like this respond to a global crisis where we are forced to lock down and not really go far at all? In conversation, Valentina tells the reasons why she loves to travel, where it all began, and what her specific motivations were to leave home and move to Amsterdam, and then on to Spain, where she found herself at the start of the pandemic, when the whole world began to shut down. I was curious to find out details on how Valentina managed to explore some of the Mediterranean islands during these COVID times, with such a quiet atmosphere, being able to meet locals and not have to wait in line with tourists. Valentina explains to me how she has been able to keep positive, stay happy, and remain travel optimistic over this last year and a bit. She offers great advice on how to stay humble and maximize the travel opportunities that have been presented to us recently, like traveling more domestically and reacquainting oneself with one's home, let's say. She has some tips for places even more interesting and less touristy to visit in Croatia now too. We talk about how we can create a travel philosophy for ourselves, or at least try to be the best traveller we can be in these modern 21st century times. Anyways, let's get to the conversation. Good evening, Valentina, and thanks very much for taking the time to come and chat on the Nostalgic Vagabond podcast.
Good evening, Alan. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Now, where are you exactly zooming in from tonight, curiously?
I'm zooming in from Solin, which is a small coastal town in Croatia near Split. Split is like the second largest city in Croatia. And Solin is actually having the biggest archaeological park in Croatia. So it's a really nice city. It's a small one, maybe 20,000 people living in here, but it's a nice place just to, it's under the mountain and there's the sea, maybe 10 minutes with driving. And so it's a really nice spot.
Brilliant. I've found you on Instagram when I was going through lots of different hashtags of travel-related things, trying to find interesting people to have on my podcast. And when I found you, this name Kooky came up, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting name. So why do you call yourself Kooky, and why do you use this brand Kooky Loves to Travel?
Well, it's actually funny because it's not too much related to me, let's say. But when I was opening Instagram account, I had no idea where to go with it, where this path will take me, And my boyfriend gave me idea to open Instagram and blog and to start sharing my stories and photos with other people. And he said, you're writing very well and we have good photos, so why not to share? And I was thinking, okay, why not? And then when I had this moment to think about the name, I had no idea what to choose. And it was the same year when my father passed away, so it was still kind of fresh. And Kooky was his nickname. I had no idea why. And he also had this tattoo called Kooky. but only difference I had before name with U. So it wasn't double O, Kooky, but it was with U. And over time, I realized people find it hard to spell and to write. So I started thinking more about, things like that when I started growing. And then I said, okay, I'm going to change it. But people already know me for Kooky. So I decided to leave it. And then I just added in the beginning, loves to travel, because I wanted something related to traveling, and that's it. I'm really bad at choosing names, so that was the reason. But it's still kind of personal in a way.
Well, it's different and it stands out, and I think that's great because it differentiates you from other people who are doing similar things. If you have a name that is unique, so that's great, and it definitely caught my attention because the word kooky I had heard of before, because we do say it occasionally in Australia, and the translation might be someone who's eccentric or a little bit sort of not stereotypical of society and a bit unique, and that's great. That sets you apart from, that's like your USP. It sets you apart from the others. So Kooky loves to travel. Now, what are the main reasons, Valentina, why you like to travel?
Well, ever since I was little, I love to explore unexplored places and the places where I never been to before. And this was the main reason why I decided to, move abroad and move around and explore new places. For me, it's not just going to another country, but just going to some other place. It can be also the same city, just different corner, different street, doesn't matter. So the main reasons are those. So exploring the unexplored, just seeing something new. I love to see other colors, other plants, other people, other cultures, anything different, like other way of building something. Everything new, it's really what makes me happy. And I think this is the main reason why I love to travel.
It seems that you're a very curious person.
True.
And throwing yourself into unknown situations is a great way to constantly learn new things, isn't it? So I suppose you can become addicted to that. And is that something that maybe is happening to you?
Not really. I mean, I guess we are addicted to many things, even though we don't realize that. Today, it's very easy to get addicted, even with sugar, there's sugar everywhere, even though we avoid it. Like, I don't eat chocolate, I don't eat sugar. But yes, you do. You eat it in pasta, you eat it in here and there, So I could be, I don't know, but I think addictive means that in one point, if I don't travel for a while, I will start being nervous, or I don't know, something like that. I don't get that. Although I feel that in one point, if I don't explore other places, I feel like I need to do something. I have this feeling. It's maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's addiction, but it's like a call. It calls me to move, to go, to explore something.
Can you remember the very first time you went on an adventure? Like, were you quite young or were you a teenager? And did it have an influence on you to the point where it inspired you to keep doing traveling and going on adventures?
Definitely. First time when I went somewhere further than, like, I don't know, 50 kilometers, I was going alone from Split to Zagreb, like 400 kilometers or a bit more, with a train. I kind of escaped from my house and I wanted to see that, Metropola, capital city. So I just went there, and I remember the first step when I went out of the train, everything was like, wow, big, different. And just that fact that I'm alone in a big city, like triple bigger than Split, it was amazing. I think at that point, I just wanted more. I just wanted bigger cities. I just wanted further destinations. I love this challenge. I love this challenge when I need to, get around, find places to eat, find, I really loved it. I don't know. And I also love the people. I love new people. I love, exchanging energies and meeting new souls. This is also what I really like. And especially, I mean, Croatia is not so big, but if you go from coast to, upper part, continental part, you will also find a different, I mean, it's the same language, but it's a different dialect. So it's very, it's nice to listen to new sounds and new words and everything.
Yeah. So you're originally from Croatia, and your first experiences were going from where you grew up in a smaller city to the bigger city of Zagreb. But when you got older again, you wanted to explore even further. And from my current understandings with the correspondence we've had earlier, you moved to the Netherlands for some time, and you also lived in Spain for some time. What was your motivation for going even further, leaving Croatia, your home country, and going to experience living and I imagine working abroad in another country with a totally different language and different cultures? Did you have any expectations for that, or were you just open to whatever was going to happen?
I was very open for whatever is going to happen. I mean, I used to live in tourism sector, and I was a waitress for many years and in hotels as a receptionist and so on. So I was kind of influenced a lot with other people, other cultures already in Croatia, but only during the summer when was, season time. So I always wanted something more, something bigger. And in my small city where I grew up, many people know many people, I mean, it's like 20,000 people, and, you can't see often, I don't know, Americans, Australians, people from other countries. So I just decided to see something else, to get more motivated, more inspired, because what I understood and what I thought is the bigger the city, the bigger the ideas. In a small town, it's hard. There are not many people, and things are more or less the same. And when you come in a bigger city, where for example, Amsterdam, I first abroad was Amsterdam, where I moved, and there is like more than 180 nationalities. So everybody is bringing one idea, from their homeland to Amsterdam. So that's amazing, and this, I think those cities are perfect for, let's say, finding your soulmate, or finding your business partner, or your best friend, or whatever. And before, I was to Czech Republic, Prague, and London, but I was just traveling there. So already at that point, I realized, wow, big cities, this is where I like, I mean, to be honest, I really love nature and nature side. I really like peace and, all this. But from the other hand, I'm also very I like people. So for me, it's a balance. But for living, I prefer to live in a little bit bigger city. Because these ideas and possibilities, and this is what I knew that I can have if I move abroad. Because Croatia is a good country, but economically is not good. This was also one of the reasons why I decided to move. The system is not so great. I mean, healthcare system, government, and all these, you're trying to, let's say, open something, a company, and they are always asking for one more paper. The procedures are very complicated, and people are kind of negative and nervous. I mean, as a tourist, when you come to Croatia, you might not notice that. But if you live there every day, you might see, the reality. So, and especially because I was living here for 20 years, and you get bored. I mean, you just want something else. I mean, I know people who are living in Croatia for like 50 plus years, and they weren't moving abroad. But, we are all different. And I'm kind of person that I just want to see the world, see what is out there, and that's it.
Yeah, I can totally relate to you, Valentina, with the idea that a bigger city with more people and a more diverse range of personalities, worldviews, and opinions can open your eyes to many things that you had not considered before because you were not exposed to that living in a small town. For me, I grew up in Australia, and I spent many years in a town probably similar size to you, maybe a little bit less than 20,000, though it would be more than 20,000 today. But I remember it being quite a homogenous experience, and everyone was pretty much the same. And I felt that there was more to life than everybody having a similar kind of idea. And so I went traveling as well, and I discovered cities like Montreal and London and Toronto, Berlin, like big cities have a huge mix of people, like you said, from all over the place. And you can learn so much from the people you meet there because they've got different opinions and ideas and perspectives because they come from different cultures and have had different experiences. And I think that's a great learning tool, you know, getting in amongst it and having conversations with an open mind and learning from other people. And I'm glad that you were able to discover that at such a young age. I think a lot of people maybe need to do more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was 21 when I moved to Amsterdam, but in the beginning, I kind of was pushing that idea to everyone, but I realized that it's not for everyone, you know, not everyone has like the guts to do that. You know, a lot of people are afraid, although I believe we all should confront our fears and try to do it because we don't have nothing to lose. I always say, you know, if you grow up with a family in a place, you can always come back there, you know. I mean, you will always get around. You will always find, you know, you can always clean something. You will never be hungry, you know, just try. You know, at least you tried, you know. You never know what can happen from it, you know, where the path can lead you.
That's a really good, optimistic and proactive and positive mindset. Now, to my understanding, Valentina, you moved to Spain after your time in the Netherlands. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. After almost 4 years in the Netherlands.
And you were in Spain last year at the start of the pandemic.
Yes.
I remember seeing some uploads on Instagram with you about a year ago, I suppose, maybe a little bit less. You were exploring a lot of Spain because during the pandemic, you couldn't really go anywhere else. So there are a lot of people in the last year or so who had all of their travel plans cancelled, thrown in the bin, and they couldn't do anything. Some people were lucky enough that they could explore their own country. And because you were in Spain, you were able to explore some of the Spanish islands, which would have been an interesting experience because I imagine it would have been very quiet and not many tourists around. So what was that experience like? First of all, being able to travel sort of locally and domestically, but also traveling when it might have been a bit weird because it was quiet and no tourists around.
It was kind of weird in a way. I mean, I didn't saw that difference. Only, you know, clubs were closed. But the people I met there who were locals told me that it's such a weird time of the year because usually Ibiza was very crowded and tourists were all around. I mean, there were some tourists, but mostly some Dutch people, German people, French people, but only a few. And for me, it was great. I mean, I also love, you know, festivals, clubbing. I'm like 50-50 person. I love this and I love that. But my primary goal for Ibiza was to explore the nature because as I see it, you can party anywhere. I mean, okay, there are some big, great festivals, maybe like Burning Man and places like this. These are wow places. But still, I think we should explore as much as we can when we are there. I mean, so Ibiza really amazed me. It was strange a bit, as I said, but I really did enjoy it because there were no lines or something like that. I could have like the whole place for myself. And this was very unique and it was peaceful. But still, I felt that island vibe. I don't know. It was nice. I still call it a magical island. I think every island is in a way magical. It has this, I don't know, kind of tropical vibe and, you know, sea breeze. And so it was cool, definitely. And I'm grateful to experience Ibiza in this time of the year because there are some good things and aspects of COVID. I mean, it's always something good and bad. And this is the same with COVID as well.
Speaking of the nature in Ibiza, Did you come across anything of particular notice when you were there? Did you find any nice trails or vistas to look upon, or see any interesting animals on your nature experiences on the island?
There were many lizards. I saw on Balearic Islands, there are so many lizards, and in every island there's a bit different kind of lizard. And they're so huge, they're like snakes. And I was hiking to Esvedra viewpoint. It's small island, actually a rock, and it's more than 400 meters tall. And some people say, I mean, there are many myths related to it. Some say it's a third magnetic spot on planet Earth. I'm not sure, but there are many stories about it. But what I know is the view is amazing. It makes you feel so small, and you can just come near the edge there, and you are just observing that island in the Balearic Sea there, and it's amazing. So I was going on these hiking trails, and I found some other viewpoints, some, how to say, like fortress, and down there was a hidden beach called Sapadrera, or Atlantis, as some people call it. And in like 70s, hippies were coming there, and they were doing some art in limestone and things like that. So there are some quite interesting places. What I like to do wherever I go is to ask local people, because locals know the best. And I also do a lot of Googling, because I don't like to just go to these touristic places. I like to just pass there. Okay, I saw it, but what I'm interested more is to see those hidden gems and, secret places, let's say secret places.
I've been following you on Instagram for a little while now, and something that I've caught is the vibe that you have a very smiley, very positive and optimistic outlook on life in general. So if we sort of think back to the year that's passed, it's been incredibly difficult for a lot of people. But it seems, Valentina, that you've been able to stay very positive about life and travel, even in these weird COVID times. Do you have a few strategies maybe that you could share of how do you stay positive and happy, even though we're in a very weird situation that can be difficult?
I think the key is to be humble. Like, what I do is to wake up every day and just be thankful that you're alive for one more day. You kept yourself alive, and you have one more chance to do something good, to do something great. So this is what I like to do. And we are now living in times when we are very much influenced with a lot of things, and we are presented as we need many things, which is not true. We don't need so many things. I mean, I'm living abroad for like 6 years, and I was moving a lot, and I realized the less I have, the more happy I am. I think we should just be happy with what we have. I mean, it's not a race. We don't need to be like somebody else. We don't need to have what somebody else has. We don't need this. I mean, we should just ask ourselves many times, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Will this make me happy, or I'm just hungry for something for some reason? So I think humble is the way to live, and this is what I try to do. And I also have bad days, but on those bad days, I try to ask myself, okay, what is good? I mean, there's always a good and bad, and there's always white and black. So we should find that middle. And I also think we should try to feed our brain and our body. So try to eat good, try to do good for yourself, relax as much as you can, read, knowledge is the best food for our brain. And as well, just try to nourish yourself, and I think being good and doing good for others and for yourself is in a way, in a long run, making everything better. Just that mental state is being much stronger, and then it's easier to go through COVID, or I don't know, any other happening, or the natural disasters, or whatever comes on our way. I mean, change is the only constant thing, and this is what I always saying. And as humans, we are in a way monkeys, but with a bigger brain. And we are animals. I mean, we are also animals, and we will adapt to anything. So people always forget that. And we are like, we are feeding ourselves with fear and with a lot of these things that we are reading from outside and seeing. But we should just more often look in ourselves and just try to be a good friend with yourself, and then you will realize everything is fine, and it's going how it should go, and it will always be better.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Valentina. I can connect with a lot of those things you said, and you opened with saying to maintain a sense of humility and staying humble, and I think that's really wonderful, and that just puts that viewpoint of it's just a good perspective to not expect or want, and to be happy with what you have, and to just pass through this life with a sense of gratefulness. Things will be good and bad, but find the balance and just continue pushing forward to live your best life. I think that's really nice. It's almost like someone who was, 60, 70 years old would say to their grandchild, and you already know this wisdom already. So kudos to you, Valentina.
Yeah, I think in a way, it's not problem if we, fall down. It's a problem if we stop and we stay at the same place. It's not even problem if we are in the same place for like days, weeks. But one day you should just say, hey, I should move forward, because I think everything could be illusion in a way. It's just now what is real. Each second is like past already. So I think it's just being now and being more focused. That's the key, and just keep on riding. It's just a ride.
Yeah, exactly. Now, talking about traveling, the lack of being able to travel internationally and to travel abroad, which has been for most of us the reality, but you've been able to travel domestically since you've moved back to your home country of Croatia. How has that been for you, being back at home, let's say, and using this time where you can't really go anywhere else to really explore your home native land and spend the time, like you said, traveling to new places, even though they're still home?
Well, I think wherever we are and wherever we were, we still have places that we didn't saw. So I just changed my approach. I mean, before I was a lot younger and I was thinking, okay, Croatia is boring. I mean, I knew that there are a lot more places for me to see, even in Croatia. But as I'm getting older, I'm even returning to the same places because I see it. I think as much as we are changing, places might be the same, but we are changing. So whenever you come somewhere for the second time or the third time, you might see something else. You might experience something else. So I think there's everywhere something new to see, and especially to observe it from another perspective. So I'm kind of enjoying here. I was lucky to be now here when it's not lockdown time. I mean, okay, there's still a lot of restrictions and the bars, restaurants are not fully open, just the terraces. But I'm not very concerned because I really like the nature side. So nature is always open as long as it's not locked down. I'm just trying to use that time and explore it.
Have you discovered yourself finding more of a sense of identity by exploring your home country, or has it really just been a matter of appreciation of the nature that Croatia has?
A matter of appreciation. I kind of lost that, I don't know, home word because I'm moving all the time somewhere. For me, home is something I'm having in me, and I'm taking it with me wherever I go. So it's more like appreciation of Croatia as a country and her nature, places, and all these towns, and even the people. And I'm just trying to appreciate everything and, to have this kind of state of mind.
Yeah, that's a similar idea for me. I left Australia, where I grew up, over 10 years ago now.
Oh.
And similarly to you, I would say, Valentina, I wanted to see if there was more to this world than where I was from. And I knew there was. I had to go on adventures and experience this for myself. When you say you carry home with you, I totally understand that as well, because I think I was counting yesterday for something that I was sending away to a producer. I had lived in, I think, 24 different places or something in my life, which seems like a lot. And I feel at home pretty much everywhere I go. More recently, I've been thinking about, if I did go back to Australia, what would that experience be like? Would it be like a rediscovery, or would it just be like reappreciating what that place where I come from has to offer, and then seeing it with new eyes, seeing it with more mature and wise eyes? So that's a curious thing that I may have the opportunity to do at some point, but right now, no, I still have to wait.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't coming home for 2.5 years after Amsterdam. So first time I came to Croatia was after 2.5 years, and I felt like alien, on planet Earth. Everything was so strange for me because, I kind of lost that sense of connectiveness with this place. And especially when you're living with so many nationalities and you're having some different external, things around you, you just come here and you're like, wow, and it took me some time to get used to. So I don't know, you just have to go and see, one day.
Yeah, for sure. I've been to Croatia before. I was there in 2017 and I explored a few places just in 5 or 6 days. But I discovered that there are so many islands that Croatia have, let's say. Have you had the opportunity to explore some of these islands during these COVID times? And would you have any recommendations for people to check out maybe particular nature spots or particular beaches or small villages once we're allowed to travel again and visit Croatia?
Definitely. Croatia has more than 1,200 islands. It's pretty much a lot. A lot of people are just going to Hvar Island, Vis Island, Pag Island, and places like that. But there are so many more smaller islands that are less crowded. I mean, I don't know now in the future how crowded any place would be. I don't know. I think the smaller the place, it has like more soul. I'm not sure, but you can meet a lot more locals there. And there's this island, I explored it maybe like 2 months ago. It's called Pashman Island. Also Murter Island. Those are islands in the middle of Croatia, like near Zadar city. As well, Vis, okay, Vis is now much known. But let's say on Hvar Island, many people don't go to Jerolim, these Pakleni Islands. These are small islands next to Hvar. Many people just go to Palmižana, Sustipanska, but they don't go to Jerolim. And there's like also a nudist beach. I mean, apart from that, the island is amazing. I think there I saw one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, if I could say. I think it's even voted for one of the best beaches in Europe, nudist beaches, actually. Naturist beaches, I guess. This is maybe the better name. I'm not sure.
A nudist beach is maybe not a tourist beach, just to be clear.
Yeah, maybe not a tourist beach. But also towns like Omiš town, it's maybe like 20 kilometers from Split. And that town is amazing. It has like 2 fortresses, I think 9 churches. It has a canyon, a river Cetina, a sea, many viewpoints. It's really a beautiful place. Also Salona Solin, my city. It has this Salona, the biggest archaeological park. There are many villages, especially in Lika. It's a middle part of Croatia, where is the longest mountain called Velebit. And there are some villages with like 20 people living there, and it's beautiful. It's always not so crowded, even in the past, in the high season. And there are many hiking trails for people who like mountains, hiking. You can also do some of adventure sports there. There are quite a few beautiful places. I think Dubrovnik, Split, Trogir, Zagreb, these big towns are nice to see and all. But I think more people should focus on these smaller places as well.
It's a very good cultural experience to see the big cities and the big towns, sure, but going to the smaller places that maybe are off the tourist radar is a great opportunity to experience just real life culture in the country that you're visiting, because there's no like famous signs or brands or, you know, tourism marketed things. It's just life. And that's a great thing to observe as a visitor, isn't it?
True, definitely, I would agree.
Or even as a native person as well. Now, I'm a little bit jealous, Valentina, in a way, because you're from Croatia, and Croatia is a wonderful place to explore. Because you're sort of stuck there, you have to staycation and stay within Croatia for your travels. But all of us, wherever we live, every country has wonderful things, unique things that are specific to each country. So, I mean, if you live in Belgium, you can explore Belgium and see beautiful towns and nature. And if you're from Germany, if you're from Canada, Mexico, Argentina, China, wherever, every country has wonderful things to explore within their boundaries. Do you think, this is a hypothetical question.
Okay.
do you think that once, let's say, these COVID times disappear, if that is a thing we can say, do you think people will still want to staycation within their boundaries of their nation? Or do you think once the shackles have been released, there'll be like a tourism tsunami and people were going all over the globe just going, get me out, I need to visit somewhere else.
Like animals from cages, huh?
What do you think?
Well, I think there will be like a bit of these and bit of those, you know. Some people will still be afraid to travel, and some people will just be wild and go everywhere, you know. I just honestly believe that we in the future travel more wisely, if I can say like that, like more sustainably, because before COVID, it was like mass tourism in many places, and we did really bad things because we were kind of selfish. I want to go to every country in the world, you know, but from the other hand, we maybe weren't thinking that much. I mean, for sure, we weren't thinking too much about the environment, our impact, and all these aspects that were in a long run, you know, doing harm to this planet. So this is my answer. I think both, but I honestly believe it will be a little bit smarter in the future from us.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that sort of segues nicely into my next point, which was that you were in a magazine article feature not too long ago, and it was talking about ecotourism. So I was just wondering, what ways would you suggest that travelers can be more eco-friendly or eco-conscious when it comes to their travels?
Well, I think we don't need to do that much. I mean, it can be anything from choosing, like, instead of airplanes, choose like boats, trains, buses. Those transports are having less environmental impact than the airplanes. Just do things like have with yourself reusable bottle for water, like stainless steel or whatever. Don't buy plastic bottles, just refill water. Okay, I know in some countries it's not possible to do that, like in Germany, Spain, but there's always a way, you know. Try to buy local, try to use local, like go to the markets, don't go to the grocery store. Even if you go to the grocery store, just try to pick locally grown food. Always try to buy from, you know, street marketers, you know, those souvenirs, not from like, I don't know, some kind of souvenir shop. I'm trying to, you know, give more to smaller people, smaller companies, let's say like that, than the bigger ones. And also these small things, like try to have less, try to buy less. You don't need that much. You don't need things. Just try to buy some food and something like that, just some spices or whatever. And I think even if we do these small things, even if somebody brings that reusable bottle for water, I think that's already a big thing. And of course, don't throw plastic around, plastic bags, like just have one bag or two bags with you. There are cloth bags, and just, take them with you wherever you go, and that's it. Backpack and things like that.
You were saying about traveling earlier in the podcast that you really like to experience new places and learn and have new experiences. And that can be a challenge, I suppose, but a challenge that you really relish and enjoy doing. Is it a bit deeper than that as well? Do you find that you've developed like a travel philosophy for yourself?
In a way, but it's maybe like personal philosophy. It kind of connected me more with myself and the world around me. I just realized with traveling that in a way we are all one. We might seem different, but actually we are all, experiencing the same problems, the same issues. We all cry, we all love, we all, I don't know, are nervous for things. And I think traveling did help me to understand deeper about our existence, although I don't know what is the actual truth, and maybe the actual truth doesn't even exist, because I think there are like gazillion other truths. Everyone has its own way of seeing that one truth. But I think it just helped me in that way, that I'm more aware of myself and the world around me and the other people around me. And that's it, I guess. I need to maybe think more about this question.
I threw that one in there just to stump you.
Yeah.
So, Valentina, a question that I would like to know your opinion about. What are some good qualities that you think a traveler should have?
I think empathy and awareness are the main two, but as well the possibility to get around quickly, to think quickly. If there's a problem, then you should be able to get yourself out of it and, try to solve that as fast as you can. Communication, like you have to be a communicative person in order to find some good places and to meet friends. I have now many friends from all around the world just because I'm communicative. And I think that's one of the aspects that a good traveler should have if he wants or she or it enjoy like traveling to the fullest, because also what traveling means is not just like moving, but also meeting people, seeing cultures and all that. But yeah, I think awareness and empathy, because as much as we like to travel and feed our, need or whatever, our passion, we also should think about the place where we go, how we live it, what we live, what we take, and, how we treat those people. And especially in some countries that are having like strict rules, stronger religions or culture, I think we also should be able to adapt to these places, not just to go and be like rebel person. We should have respect. That's also one good point that every good traveler should have.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Something that I wanted to ask you in terms of, I guess, personality, and we're going to get to the personality quiz just after this part. But if you were to close your eyes, Valentina, and just think, and if I threw out this word or collection of words, happy travels, is there a memory or a vision that comes to your mind?
Well, definitely related to my boyfriend, because I had the best traveling with him. And it was usually our road trips to Spain and to Greece, to Crete Island, and like a lot of funny adventures that we have in Spain, like the times when I stabbed myself with the banana in the open eye by accident. And along that road trip when we met so many funny people. Yeah, I think yeah, these are the memories related to happy travels for me.
Brilliant. Okay, it's time for
my favorite 4.
So, are you ready for my favorite 4?
Born ready.
Question number 1, Valentina. What is your favorite form of transportation?
A car.
Okay. What is your favorite international greeting?
I think hola. It's a Spanish. So hola, I don't know, maybe because I really love Spanish language, and both Catalan, both Castellano. So it's hola.
Okay, great. What is your favorite month in the year?
June, because it's my birthday and it's the beginning of summer. And yeah, those are the reason. And it's my mother's birthday, so maybe because of that as well, but mostly because it's related to summer, and I love summer.
Okay. And the last question, Valentina. What is your favorite road trip so far?
I would definitely say the road trip 3 years ago in Spain, in Catalonia, when my boyfriend and I went for 11 days, and we were going through all Catalonia part, Costa Brava. And we, as I already mentioned, we had like many funny moments and experiences there. But I'm also I have to also say the road trip in Greece, Crete Island, because that island was, I don't know, I felt like I was already there. It was super wild, and it had all these roads, but kind of dangerous roads without any fence, and it was just like dirty old roads. And we were going all around the island, and mountains, and it was amazing. So I think Spain, because it was funny, it was cool. There were a lot of these towns and beaches, but then Crete, because it was super wild and all these scenes and landscapes, it was amazing. So both of them, sorry.
I see.
My favorite 4.
The last thing, Valentina, that I would like to get you to talk about is tell the listeners about your website, about your Instagram, your social media, and any entrepreneurial things that you're up to, and what Kooky Loves to Travel is doing in the future.
I have a blog, so it's kookylovestotravel.com, and there you can read many blog articles about the places where I've been traveling to. A lot of photography, traveling tips about the equipment, and how to save money tips, because I'm kind of low budget traveler. I try to, spend as less as I can and to see as much as I can. As well, I'm having Instagram account, Kooky Loves to Travel is the handle, and there you can also see a little bit fresh content from the place where I am now, and some stories, and as well some stories from my previous travels, some tips, some Instagram tips, because I'm also social media manager, and I'm in digital marketing for like 2 years. But also I'm doing vlogs on my YouTube channel. You can find many vlogs from Croatia, Spain, and all the places where I've been to, adventure sports and things like that. So yeah, these are the places where you can follow me. In the future, I'm planning to post more about the places where I am from the birth perspective. There's one news: me and my boyfriend bought a drone. So we will record more from the air whenever we are allowed to do that. And I'm planning to focus more on videos in the future, but as well photography, because photography is my big love. And I will try to write more blogs. So I'm trying to have diverse content. So if you just follow me, you can just enjoy, because I'm always trying to give some tips on how to be like positive, happy, because I'm that kind of person, let's say, and I'm trying to also give a little bit from my experience and how I see the world and how you can, just be happy no matter what.
Exactly. And you can share those happy vibes, and I will include links to all of your content, your handles, and your websites in the show notes of the podcast, so people can find out more information through those links. Find more happiness through your happiness, let's say. And that's the end. We had a few internet issues, but I think we've persevered.
But
Valentina, I'd just like to say a big thank you for coming on the Nostalgic Vagabond podcast.
Thank you, Alan, so much for inviting me. This was a pleasure.
Cool.
I'm happy, and in the future, maybe we can do it again. And I wish you all the best, and thanks to everyone who is listening.
Thanks for listening to the Nostalgic Vagabond. I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation. And if you would like to listen to other interesting talks on travel, there are more podcasts available. Check them out wherever you get your podcasts. And for updates, just follow me at the Nostalgic V. Don't forget, your journey is special. Own it. I've been Alan Hill. Until next time. Hey guys, if you enjoy listening to the Nostalgic Vagabond, why not support the podcast? If you haven't already, subscribe and you'll be notified when new eps drop. You can also support the podcast by leaving a rating or a review on your podcast app. Why not share this episode? Tell your friends about it if something resonated with you. Word of mouth is great promotion. If you're into social media, maybe post a screenshot of the episode or upload the link on your profile so your mates can see what interesting content you've been into lately. All your support comes straight back and helps to keep the travel content and nostalgia of this podcast going. Cheers. So don't forget to subscribe.